Everybody, the Global Compact for Migration will be signed on December 10th in Marrakesh, and here's the petition to express your displeasure with that choice. You can click on the link in the description, and once you get to the page, you can click here to sign the petition, or you can scroll to the bottom and click the bottom link. They'll send you a link to your email, or they'll send you an email, and then you have to click a link in that email for your signature to count. You can check the signature breakdown by provinces, and Ontario is number 1, and Alberta is number 2, not Quebec. I mistakenly reported that it was Quebec in my last video, so I apologize for that. It is Alberta. So sign the petition, express your displeasure, maybe get a yellow vest. I'm not sure yet how to work that, but we'll talk about that in a minute. We'll finish the show with Global Compact on Migration. First, some provincial news. Here's David Cochrane tweeting. He's a CBC reporter. Quote, Doug Ford threatens to walk out of the first minister's meeting. Quote, no one should assume the Premier of Ontario is prepared to spend his Friday sitting through a series of lectures from federal cabinet ministers, a senior official in Ford's office told CBC News. Story soon. So that was this morning at 9:15 a.m. I haven't seen anything since. I've been busy. I have lots of stuff going on. And here's a couple of stories that I want to revisit. And this is from Mcleans. So I was looking for the spin, but I think these Liberals have just gotten so bad that Mcleans would be, I'm not sure what kind of journalistic record Mcleans has, but not reporting on this would sully it, let's say. So Mcleans was reporting, quote, double dipping, no showing, no quitting Liberal MPs, Tom Parkin says. In 2 Liberal ridings, MPs who should have been forced to resign seem intent to hold on until January, when by-elections may be off the table. Okay, so Liberal by-election games get harder to comprehend each week. There was an unexplained 6-month delay to the by-election in Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands, and Rideau Lakes, finally held on Monday. And when that by-election was called on October 28th, 3 other open seats, York Simcoe, Burnaby South, and Oudermont, were passed by without reason. And now in Brampton East and Montreal's St. Michael, Liberals are entangled in controversy over MPs who double dip, don't show up, and don't quit. The MP for the Liberal bastion of St. Michael, Nicola Delorio, announced his resignation back in April. But 7 months later, Delorio is still a Liberal MP, though he has not spoken or voted in the House of Commons since June 13th, according to a search of Hansard. While not doing his job in Commons, Delorio, a Labour employment lawyer, seems to be working with employees concerned about the workplace impact of cannabis legalization. In October, Delorio made a presentation in his personal capacity as a lawyer to the Montreal Cannabis Expo and Workplace Law. And if you remember, and I've done a couple of stories on Delorio, he said that you have to ask the Prime Minister what I'm doing. I'm doing a job at the Prime Minister's behest. And the Prime Minister basically said, yeah, don't worry about him, he's fine. And the whip, the guy who's in charge of the caucus, who's supposed to be making sure that they're doing their jobs, has not really followed up. So Delorio is one pretty crazy story all by himself. Can you imagine if the Conservatives had a majority government and one of their MPs was off doing lawyer work for anybody? Like, say they're a real estate lawyer and they were doing real estate law, or even cannabis law, real estate law for a cannabis company. Let's just say they're trying to buy all these stores, whatever. It doesn't matter. Would the provincial Conservative, or would a Conservative under the People's Party be allowed to get away with that since October? I mean, where's the CBC outrage? Where's the news? What's going on? So, and he hasn't sat in the House since the House came back from the summer break, right? So it's been before June 13th. That he has been seen in the House, which is just crazy. And back to the article, quote, the second uniquit is Raj Grewal, the MP from Brampton East. In a November 21st Facebook post, Grewal stated he'd informed Liberal whip Mark Holland of his resignation. Holland has since said this happened in a face-to-face meeting. Once again, it seems that, especially for a party whip, Mark Holland is incredibly poor on execution. According to news reports, Grewal has a gambling addiction, has spent wildly in casinos, has been mentioned in calls subject to OPP wiretaps, is under investigation from the RCMP, and is subject to an ethics commissioner investigation for bringing a business associate to an event with the Prime Minister during his February India trip. And I believe that business associate, it was one of the insiders who purchased land for the bridge that they then flipped to the government for $1 million more they bought it for $1 million more and then sold it to the government, making a profit with insider information. And I'm just saying that's pretty coincidental, right? That's a pretty tight little series of coincidences for a Liberal MP who has presumably, I think they're in the process of ejecting him from caucus, but he's claiming mental health issues. So they've got a little quagmire on their hands, because do you eject somebody who has got mental health issues from caucus over their mental health issues? I think the bigger question is, where did you get your millions of dollars to gamble in the first place? And he says, Raj Gruel says that he got the millions of dollars from personal loans, friends, and family only. And then the follow-up question is, how did you pay those loans back so quickly? If you gambled all the money away and have this addiction, like you're an addict and also all of this other stuff, where did you get the millions of dollars to pay back the millions of dollars you gambled away? To pay back your friends that you've screwed over? And the third question is, do we really want people like that in our government? Like, I'm glad that he paid back his debt and stuff, but if you're gambling while you should be at work, and you're gambling millions of dollars while you should be at work, well, that's a big problem, right? Regardless of your political stripe, one way or the other. Back to the Global Compact on migration. The Mayor's Migration Council is to launch in Marrakesh. So this is, Gone Mad tweeting, quote, globalist brainwashing of 70 mayors, Soros Open Society Conference before UN Migration Pact, nothing going on here. And then a link to the Mayor's Migration, and I'll show you what this is all about. So this is globalnewswire.com, a release from Global Newswire, and it says Mayor Migration Council to launch in Marrakesh ahead of UN Conference on Migration. And it says, on the eve of the historic intergovernmental conference on the Global Compact for Migration, mayors from around the world will gather in Marrakesh on December 8th to launch the Mayor's Migration Council. Cities have played a leading role in responding to the refugee and migration challenge in recent years, pioneering practical solutions for both welcoming and integrating newcomers. The council will help cities share these experiences to shape and inform international policy debates on migration. I wonder if Toronto will be there. Spoiler, Toronto's not going to be there because Toronto has to spend a whole lot of money and they're not very happy about it. Well, except maybe John Tory, but who knows? Back to the article. Quote, today more than ever, cities are ground zero for major global challenges, and mayors are on the front lines of finding workable solutions to everything from migration to climate change to economic development, says Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti. When refugees, asylum seekers, and immigrants enter our cities, we do the hard work of integrating them into our communities and workforce. I'm going to pause here. See how they conflated refugees, asylum seekers, and immigrants. They are not the same thing. And none of the people illegally crossing are any of these things. Just so everybody's clear. The mayors who are, quote, making it work shouldn't be. They should be sending these people to the front lawns of every politician who's greenlighting these garbage policies. Oh, that might be illegal in a few days, everybody. Back to the article. When refugees, we do the hard work of integrating them into our communities and workforce. With the Mayor's Migration Council, Los Angeles and our partners will be able to bring our experiences to the table, share best practices, and help inform smarter policies worldwide. The council will be represented in Marrakesh by members of its leadership board, which include the mayors of Los Angeles, Amman, Milan, Kampala, Athens, Bristol, Freetown, and Montreal. The launch will take place during the 5th Mayoral Forum on Human Mobility, Migration, and Development, where representatives from over 70 cities will debate and endorse a mayoral declaration that will deliver to the UN conference. So, yet another way to usurp states' and nations' rights is to get to the mayors and say, yeah, declare your city a sanctuary city so we can be protected, and send people there to get free municipal services like healthcare and shelters. How's that going, Toronto? Is that pretty good to have 40% of your shelters taken up by illegal refugees who do not qualify to have any position in Canada? No legal standing at all. They're just there because we can't get their trial fast enough, and Trudeau wants to enshrine this in law, right? Does that make sense to anybody? So using mayors to usurp nations' sovereign borders. That's what this is. I would hope that people turn their back on this trash. Here is a tweet from people were asking if there's a protest, and it looks like a yellow vest or a anti-carbon tax demonstration in all cities, at town halls, and if you're in a major, like a capital city, then provincial legislative buildings. And this one that I saw says 12 noon. This is by no means official. I couldn't find, like I said on my last video, and I haven't had a chance to go through all the comments. I've been busy. I'm sorry, guys. So I haven't had a chance to update to the Facebook I know there's a Facebook event for this, but I don't know where it is. And I'm not to say I'm not endorsing anything to that effect, but I hope that there is a protest. I don't know where the official one is. That's what I'm saying. So I apologize for not being informed on that. Please do inform me in the comments, and everybody have a look. I'll pin it when I see it, and I'll add it to the description as well. And the last thing I wanted to say here, this is ridiculous. So Strombo, who I think is like, he interviews celebrities, right? Like I'm not up on who these people are, but I had a look at his Twitter and stuff, and he's not a really deep political thinker, right? He's a guy who shares political memes when it is convenient, but he's not he's not reading the Global Compact. He hasn't seen that the 3 pieces of legislation the UN's trying to shove down everybody's throats, right? He doesn't understand quite what he's talking about. But so Strombo says this is a lie, and they know it. And that is in response to the CPC's tweet of Justin Trudeau wants to give up Canadian sovereignty to an unelected international body, say no to the UN Global Compact for Migration. And again, a little visual image to go along with it. But Strombo's response of this is a lie and they know it. I mean, my question was, do a report on the facts of this. I'd be interested to see how you square the cost of illegal border crossers with the budgeted amount, $340 million spent so far in 2018, and that's only federal costs, versus $172 million over 2 years budgeted. How do you square that, Mr. Strombo? Would you like to have a debate with me? I would love to shred you on this, because this is, like, you clearly don't know what you're talking about, and your followers are being misinformed by your misinformation. So read up on this. Please stop spreading misinformation, and maybe sign this petition. Hey, just takes a second. I'm going to click on the email. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Check out the People's Party of Canada. I think Maxime Bernier is having a rally in Quebec tonight, and I hope it goes well. I hope we have strong, robust debate about Justin Trudeau selling our sovereignty to the UN for a seat on for a temporary seat on the Security Council, because that's what this whole thing's about. Wild, wild, wild ride. Okay, thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great night.